Okay, I think we're live. We're recording. Yeah. Okay. Thank you again. Thanks so much for taking the time out to speak to me. I know you're really busy. And
It's my pleasure.
yeah, we'll just try to make this short. So I Googled you the first time I saw your story on the paper. So I Googled you. I wanted to see what Google picked up about you. And yeah, you attended Charles Sturt University, is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
With a bachelor's degree in veterinary science.
Yep.
That's correct. Yep. I want to make sure that I got this right.
Yes.
And becoming PNG's first female veterinarian. And the amazing thing about it is that you did it as a single mom, and that's something that's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I surprise myself sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, that's
when I sit down and think about it, I'm like, how did I do that?
you don't know how much you can do until you end up doing it.
Until you're put in the situation and you have no choice but to do it, then you know how much, strength and perseverance you actually do have.
And that's right. And making history while you were, I mean, you didn't know that you were.
No, I didn't know.
Following your passion and doing what you loved, and that's really amazing. So, just maybe in a few words or more, it's really up to you. This is about you. How does it feel like making history as PNG's first animal doctor?
Yeah, when I actually found out, maybe in my final year, towards finishing the degree, I was like, wow, I didn't even know that I thought that we had a lot more. I mean, I knew we didn't have a lot of vets, but I didn't know that I was going to be the first female veterinarian. And yeah, I was really amazed. But then I realized that, being the first comes with a lot of responsibility as well. But I'm happy that I could be in inspiration for other young women and girls, because I knew that throughout my journey to vet science, there were a lot of challenges, and I didn't have anyone to guide me or have anyone to talk to about, like a vet to talk about like what I needed to do to go down this career path. And I'm glad by, this achievement, I can, other girls, I can be an avenue through which other girls or young people can be able to come and talk to if they're interested in studying vet.
That's right. So you mentioned some of the challenges that you faced with this field of study. What were some of those challenges, and how did you manage to tackle those hurdles?
Yeah, so I wanted to be a vet since I was a little girl, since I probably started thinking. I knew that was what I wanted to do. And I guess as I went through school, I knew that it was a very challenging degree, which it was an academically challenging degree. So I knew that I had to do really well in school. So at that point, I was setting myself up to I looked ahead and said, okay, if I wanted to do at school after uni or after high school, I needed to have good grades in order to get there. So I sort of prepared and set myself up throughout my primary and secondary school to do well in school so that I'd have a chance to get into vet school. At that time, I heard about the Australian and New Zealand scholarships, and throughout secondary school and university, I was just asking people about the pathways that I could go to, and how I could apply for a scholarship to be able to go and study overseas, because I know it's also financially challenging as well to study in Australia and live in Australia. So the only option, I guess, was the scholarship. So I hadn't met any vets until I was in university, and during studies, I would, also let me just track back. After high school, I the opportunities to apply for the scholarship wasn't there. So I decided to study animal biology or biology at the University of Papua New Guinea as a stepping stone towards, I guess, the final goal. It was something to do with animals. So I decided that was what I was going to do. So I graduated with a degree in animal biology in 2011, and then went on to work as a zoologist, research biologist. So we worked a lot with wildlife animals. So that was close to, working with animals. So I was pretty
Animals.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but throughout uni, I decided that I actually might need hands-on experience with animals in the clinics. So every time when I had free periods, I asked to volunteer at the RSPCA clinic, and that's what I would do between classes or in the afternoons. And then when I went on to so that was me getting hands-on experience with dealing with animals. And then when I went on to be working research, biological research, I had hands-on experience with working with wildlife animals. And part of the training was to come and get more training at RSPCA. So everything that happened sort of set me up without me knowing. I
Yeah.
did. I thought it was the right thing to do at that time, and it actually was, because in order to apply to vet school, you need to have
Some
a lot of hands-on
experience with,
experience with
yeah.
animals. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So and then getting into vet school, a whole heap of new challenges. So I had to leave my 9-month-old son behind and go ahead and study. At first, it was very exciting. This was something that I wanted to do for a very long time, and I finally got to do it. And I was just like,
Over the
I did,
moon.
over the moon. I did extremely well in first year. I got high distinctions
Yeah, I
in vet
heard.
school, um, which is pretty hard to do. But then in second year, I started getting, I don't know, separation anxiety, and just like, I was very sad away from my son, because I'd visit him every other holiday, and then I'd come back and I'd just be sad. So that was the
Yeah, that
first, I
contributed
guess,
to.
first 3 years was very challenging with him away. But when he joined me midway through my degree, it was furthermore challenging, because I had to rush to school and make sure he gets dropped off at daycare, and rush to my classes. And then I couldn't drive back then, and I didn't have a car, so we had to catch buses, and it was a country town. So if you missed the bus, you'd miss an hour. You'd have to wait an hour, 2 hours to catch the next bus. And vet school is you have a lot of hours. So it's like from 8 or 9 till 5 or 6 in the afternoon classes, and in contact classes and theory and prac. So it's
Oh, that's a lot.
racing, racing to get the buses to drop my son off at school at daycare. The daycare was at the university that I attended, so I drop him off and then rush down to class. In the afternoon, rush back up, pick him up from school, and then catch the late
That's a
bus
lot.
home. Yeah, but I had a lot of amazing friends who'd help and pick us up in the morning and drop us off. So that definitely did help along the way. But it was more, I felt, I don't know, convicted and more motivated when my son joined me. Like, although it was challenging, I felt like,
As long as he's with you.
yeah, as long as he was with me, everything would be okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I don't know what that must have felt like, because I'm not married myself. I don't have kids, so it's really hard for me to imagine how hard it must have been for you to cope with such a demanding task. I mean, school schedule and being a single mom. It's just I don't know how that feels, but I'm just impressed and very, very proud that you really pulled it through. And I mean, if it's your passion, you just committed to it, and that's what's really inspiring.
Yeah.
To you, it's like you had this figured out from a very young age. You knew what you wanted to be. And on top of that,
Mm.
you're passionate about. So all of that sort of just, was the big driving
Yeah, I
factor.
mean, like there were areas down the road that didn't have it all figured out.
Yeah, yeah.
I might pretend that I have it all figured out, but I
But like
actually don't.
you knew what you wanted to be. That
But
was
I knew
important.
what I wanted to
Yeah,
do, yes.
you knew what you wanted to do,
But
but how
everything
to get there,
between
yeah,
then and getting there was, yeah, just
yeah, it was
um,
a blur a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah, a lot of hard work and a lot of patience. So it took me 13 years to become a vet.
13. Wow,
13,
that's
1-3,
one
yeah.
thing.
Because I did 4 years of the zoology degree, and then I went on to do my intern biology with the conservation organization for another 3 years just to get into vet school. And then I did 6 more years of that and then finished.
And that's like a decade of studying, right? More than a
Yeah.
decade. So what kept you going apart from your son being there with you? I know it was one of the motivating things in your life. I mean, actually,
um, I think like, there were a lot of times during the degree that I was like, it got so hard that I was like, oh, why am I doing this?
yeah,
So why did I put myself through this? I could have gone and done something else. But then
yeah,
I looked at how far that I had worked. I had worked so hard studying and putting all the, hours and effort into getting to where I was and then I tried to see myself doing something else and then I found that this was actually worth it. It was actually worth the
hmm,
time. It was actually worth the move from another country to another. It was worth everything. And I really also, because of that, that pushed me onwards. And I really
hmm.
wanted to make my parents proud as well. And they're very supportive of me.
Yeah, they were
Well,
amazing.
yeah, and yeah, I think that's the other part of it is just looking at how far I'd come and the effort I'd put in it, and I wouldn't see myself doing any other thing. And this is what I really wanted to do. That's what motivated me, and
Hmm.
having the people who kept pushing me and
That's right.
pushing me towards my dreams, seeing them proud, makes me happy as well. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm
yeah.
pretty sure your family is super, super proud of you. And I've seen them how they are with Tegan. They just love him to bits, and they'll just do anything to make him happy. Alice has been such a
Yeah,
great aunt to him as well, and yeah, you have such a
yeah.
great family that are so behind you, and yeah, your success is, I mean, it's because
Yeah,
of how
attributed
much
to
they,
them as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
that's true. That's one of the things
Um,
that's really important to, supporting
yeah, having a
family.
supportive family. As a single mother, I think
That's right.
I was very, very blessed to have very supportive family who helped me with Tegan while he was here in PNG and I was in Australia. And also when I had to do practical courses, like I had to do different clinics. My sister Alice, whom you would know, she was very supportive. Like I wouldn't have been able to complete all my practical placements without her presence and her going
Yeah,
down and taking care of Tegan while I was away. So yeah.
yeah. And I noticed Tegan is speaking, his English is very fluent. The first time I met him, he was just like practicing all the way. Yeah,
That's one of the good things
school in
about
Australia. Yeah.
studying in Australia. Yeah.
He did go to
He's
school. Yeah.
Yeah, he went to school. He did year one, preschool, kindergarten. I mean, sorry, preschool and kindergarten. Yeah,
I hear
yeah,
he's taking up after you because he's so into animals now, and I think he knows
yes.
which types of dinosaurs are out there. I'm
I
like,
think
kid,
he
I
knows more about animals than I do.
you have a genius. You have a genius. You're such a smart kid.
Thank you.
Says here one of the highlights of you studying in uni in Australia was delivering a calf through a C-section.
The
How was
cesarean, yeah.
how was that?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty cool. So we were in team, like in a group. So we had to have, vets, the difference between vets and I guess human doctors is vets have to be everything. They have to be the anesthetist, they have to be the surgeon.
You do everything yourself, yeah.
Yeah, you have to do all those things. But when we do, like if you're working in a clinic, that's what you do. You're the radiologist, you're the oncologist, you're the surgeon, you're the anesthetist, you're everything into one, packaged into one. So when we did the cesarean, I was the anesthetist, but we had the other teams who were doing the surgery. So we all worked together and delivered this calf. Was the best experience ever.
There's a baby horse or a calf?
No, a cow. Yeah,
Cow.
calf. Yeah.
A horse is a calf as well.
No, a foal.
A foal, yeah. Okay, I'm really
Yeah.
bad at that.
That's okay. Sometimes I get confused too.
A baby cow is a calf, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So that was rewarding. I think I had so many amazing experiences. I mean, I enjoyed surgery. Surgery is pretty because it's challenging. You get scared of cutting into things. So, but when you do, it's like, oh my goodness, I did it. I can do this.
So you I mean, the mother, the cow, the female cow that you delivered, she was okay after that? Like,
Yeah, she was,
stabbed and
so it
everything?
was, yeah, it was standing procedure. So she was standing, sort of like any cesarean, you're awake, but
Yeah.
they've numbed everything, so you
Mm-hmm.
can't feel a thing. Yeah.
I'm
And
just trying to
she was
picture
okay.
everything in my head, how it went down.
Yeah. She was okay, and the calf was okay, and then we have to look after it. We bottle feed it, um, bottle fed it after, because as soon as calves are born, they need to get a certain amount of um, colostrum, like the first milk that comes out, because all the antibodies are in there. And unlike humans, they get only a little bit of the antibodies from their mom. So when they're born, they're completely vulnerable to getting disease. So when the colostrum, the first milk from the mom, is the one that protects them
So you
from
got
getting
the
sick.
milk from the mom and gave it
We got
to...
the milk from the mom and made the
Yeah.
baby, drink it, yeah.
Very hands-on, very cool.
Yeah, other hands-on stuff is pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm sure that you enjoy the hands-on more than,
Yeah, I do.
in the clinic
Yes,
and waiting
definitely.
for the next animal to come in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And since you've been back, like I had you joined, I mean, you were recruited by Nakia and now you're working up in the Highlands dealing with the African swine flu that will spread it
Fever, yeah.
across.
Yeah.
Fever or flu?
Yeah, African swine fever.
Fever, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I have to keep up with these terms. It's
That's okay.
what have you
Yeah.
been dealing with up there?
So my first rotation, I started with Nakia in November 2020, and had my first rotation rotation as in travel to the Highlands in December. It was quite exciting. Back at university, we've dealt only with like cattle, sheep, and your poultry and horses, and beef and dairy cattle and dogs and cats, but not much of pigs. So the first thing that I had to learn was how to bleed a pig. So we go out to different farms that report that their pigs have been dying, or they've either been showing clinical signs like haven't been eating, or just general weakness, and the skin's becoming red, or their nose is bleeding, which are the signs of clinical signs of African swine fever. And then our teams, so I was based in Hagen, and I am still based in Hagen, like Wabeg, Southern Highlands, and Tari. And so based on the reports coming from farmers, either through the hotline that we have for Nakia or um, through any form of like messaging or through a second person, we get the details and then we go on to the site. And then we get blood, we look at the pig, get the clinical history, take bloods from the pigs, and then we test them on the spot. We do a field site test and we test them if they have African swine fever or not. So we do what they call an antibody and an antigen test. So one tests for the virus itself and the other one tests for the antibodies built by the pig against the virus. And then if the test is positive, then we advise the farmer about farm biosecurity and to cull the pig and the risks of keeping a sick pig in your pens. And we talk to the farmers about all these things that he needs to do to protect his pig, because African swine fever is a highly contagious disease, and it has 100% mortality. That means that if it comes into your farm,
It'll
when
wipe
one pig,
everyone out.
it'll wipe out, yes. And there's no vaccine or cure
Right.
at the moment, and it's been here for a long time. And the only way to prevent it from getting into your farm is through farm biosecurity.
So you have to isolate the
Yes,
infected pigs.
you isolate your sick pigs, and if they're tested as positive, we advise farmers to cull. I think the biggest issue is, I guess, like coronavirus, changing behavior is a process. And with African swine fever, it's the same thing. Things we've practiced for a long, long time prior to diseases such as African swine fever being present in the country, we have to change, like movement of pigs for cultural practices. Now that you've got diseased areas, you have to waive Nakia's restricted movement of pigs from provincial borders, across provincial borders. And killing and eating of sick pigs is also, we advise farmers not to do that, because you can spread the disease to pigs if you feed them like any pork meat or leftovers that you've used and cooked with any pork meat, and then you've given to the pigs. That's how you transmit it as well.
So it's not harmful to human beings, just for pigs.
It's not harmful to human beings, but human beings can be carriers. So if I went to, because it gets stuck onto, like we say, formites, like vehicles or any object, and it can survive for some time. So if I touch with my hands and I go and shake hands to a farmer, I pass it onto his hands, and then in the afternoon he forgets to wash his hands and then picks up a piece of cocoa and throws it to his pig, and then that's how his pig gets sick. Yeah.
It's a very stubborn virus, huh?
It's a very resilient one, yeah.
Yeah, right. And how?
But yeah, that's what I've been doing with these rotations.
So you have a team with you up there?
Yeah.
You have a lab there as well?
We have the lab at Port Moresby, Kila Lab, our lab. So we send the samples that we get through to the lab in Port Moresby, and then they send that to the Australian Centre for Disease Preparedness down in Queensland. And they test it using PCR, and then they confirm the results, and then they send to us, and then we revisit the sites.
So how long does that take?
About 2 to 3 weeks, yeah. 2 to 3 weeks, yeah. But most of our decisions are based on the field site test and the clinical science and the clinical history. So,
right. So, like, has the situation with ASF up in Harris, has it improved, or has it been slowed down, or is it still spreading?
It's slowly spreading. So now it's currently in Jiwaka. So previously, before I started, it was only in Southern Highlands, Tari, and Wabeg, and a parts of Hagen. But when I started on that rotation, that was when Hagen, a lot of places in Hagen got infected.
Right.
And then now it's slowly moving towards Chiwaka. So we're trying to develop, put in measures to prevent it spreading any further.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's all to do with people's behavior because
Yeah,
pigs
that's right.
cannot move. The virus cannot carry itself over.
Yeah,
It
it's the
has to
people who are
be
managing those, I mean,
the
their farms and their
people.
things. Yeah,
So
that's,
once we get people to change their practices and
yeah.
be informed
On how
about the
to, yeah.
virus, yep, and how to stop it from spreading the individual, I mean, for their properties and for themselves, then
Yeah.
yeah, I
So I
think
take
we'll
it you've
see.
been doing awareness as well up there on this
Yes,
disease.
lots.
Lots.
Every site we visit, we do a lot of awareness on the about the disease and how to prevent it getting onto your farm and how to stop it spreading. Yeah.
So I guess there'll be like limited pigs at bite price ceremonies for now because of,
Yeah,
things that,
it's
yeah.
always yeah. We always have this problem because those things need to happen all the time.
Yeah.
So we have checkpoints in place to restrict movement of pigs, but pigs are still moved anyway. So
Uh,
yeah,
yeah. It's hard
it
to
makes our
really,
job hard.
yeah, yeah. That's right. It's hard
But
to,
we, yeah, but we still continue trying to educate and make
yeah.
people aware and informed, and so they can make these informed decisions to help them because pigs are important to them and that's their financial security. So
Yeah.
if they don't look after it, then they won't have anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
So
There goes the money.
yeah.
So what's it like on a normal day as a vet? What do you do first? And how do you just,
Normal day out in the field. We have team briefings, so we get together, we talk about what we'll do for the day and what investigations or reports have come up, and then we call the different farmers and organize heading there. We collect samples at the different farms, and then but the job doesn't end because we have to come back and process the samples in our
right?
in our rooms and organize all that. So my fridge is just filled with blood tubes, no space for food.
No space for food and drinks. That's not a normal person's fridge, I'm telling you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's
That's,
pretty good. Like I've never been to the Highlands, so now I feel like I know
yeah.
Hagen. Like I'm like have something to talk about with the taxi drivers.
Hey, I've been to Hagen.
Yeah.
I've been to so and so and so. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So what, now that you're practicing after studying and you're practicing that, what are some of the challenges that you face now that you're out practicing being a veterinarian?
Yeah, I didn't see myself working in biosecurity when as I was first, I thought because I did wildlife, I was going to be a wildlife veterinarian. But then I was like, oh, I think I love cattle and I love working large animal and small animal. Maybe I'm going to do a little bit of that. But then the only options that you have here is small animal practice in the clinic and then with Nakia in agriculture. And I started with Nakia, and it's been such a rewarding experience. I think the challenges working as a vet is you don't like because we don't have a lot of veterinarians here. We have only three national veterinarians, and the rest are all expatriate vets. So the other national vet works with me at Nakia. He's the chief veterinary officer. And the other vet works with Pharma Plus, which is a partner organization to Nakia. They provide technical assistance to Nakia. I think it's just like finding the resources and
That's right. Yeah.
having a lot of vets together to discuss about all these challenges with like animal health um, in the country and all these different things. But the vets here are very well experienced, and I am learning a lot from them as well, which is good. I wanted to do like part-time surgical, like desexing program with RSPCA, but because of COVID, that has also stopped that from happening. But yeah, I think out in the field, it's talking to people and communicating, you know, what the information that you need to get across, and making sure that, you know, they understand. And it's also hard coming when you're advising someone when you're a woman. So people tend to listen to men more than they do women. So I think those are some of the challenges.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been pretty good so far. Good experience. All building, and it's all about growth and building. So
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah, like when you get your feet and when you like find your place in, and you know, to show the people that look, I'm here to help you. If you want to listen, go ahead and listen. But if you're not gonna listen, then I'm fine. I mean, I start thinking around, you know, this thing about not listening to women because they're women. I mean, we're in the 21st century. That should just go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like it does happen, especially with like out in the field. But most of the time, like my colleagues, they're amazing. Yeah, we work
They
well
support
together,
you
and I
really.
learn a lot from them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's really important to have supportive colleagues as well, because
Yeah.
if you shine, they shine as well, and you all shine together. So.
Yes. Yeah.
So where to from here? I mean, what do you aim to achieve in terms of your career building?
Yeah. So I have a contract with Nokia, and I'm planning to stay and finish the contract. But after, I think I'll decide what I'll be doing at that point. Um, for now, I just wanted to learn everything that I can as a field veterinarian. I feel like there's a lot to learn because, you know, veterinary science is not just about medicine. It's about a lot of things that come into play. It's about, you know, international market access. It's about trade. It's about
Oh, trade.
food. Yeah, it's about food safety. It's about, you know, there are lots of things to do
Lots of
in
bits
animal
to it.
health. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I didn't realize that. I just thought that um, veterinary science. I think I lost you. Hey, Tanya. I think I lost you. Okay, I did lose you. Just gonna, let me just check.
Sorry, honey. I think my internet went off and just came back.
Sorry. Yeah, I think, yeah, I lost you there for a bit. And I was thinking, was it my end? And I'm, you know.
No, it's my end.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that it, you know, it included all of that. You were saying trade, food sciences, and all that stuff. I used to just think
Yeah,
that it was just, you know, animal lives, taking care
export
of
and
them.
import, export and import of live animals and animal products. You need veterinarians to be able to provide the permits and do the risk
Right.
assessments and everything. So
So there's a whole
yeah,
lot of other branches to.
branches. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, okay, I get it. You have a lot of options to choose from. which industry you want to commit your services to. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think you're gonna be very, very demanding because there's not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the food business,
Still,
you know,
yeah, I still haven't figured out what it is that I'd actually, I actually quite do enjoy biosecurity work. It's fun. I enjoy being out in the field, and I love talking to people and communicating to them about the work. Yeah, so I think I could be possibly in biosecurity and livestock services for a while.
okay.
But I do enjoy surgery and medicine, so I might get to a point where that's something I will do for a little bit, and then um, from there decide what else I'd love to do.
But
I
like
think the world is, everything's at your feet, and you don't need to
yeah,
feel, limited to
rush.
something, and yeah, limited to something, and you
Mhm.
don't need to make those decisions quickly. You can take your time, and you can experience everything if you want to, and do things as they come,
As they come, yeah, that's right.
as the
No
opportunities
pressure.
arise. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You've done the hard bit. I mean, you did 13 years, so you deserve to enjoy
Mm.
whatever
Yeah.
it is that you're doing now.
Yeah, it's funny. My first job ever is
Yeah,
with
that's,
Nakia.
that's
Being
nice.
studying for a very long time.
Mm, yeah, that's really cool. So, what advice would you give to young boys and girls who want to take up veterinary science or yeah, become an animal doctor like you?
Yeah, I think that two things to know that vet science is academically challenging. So you need to prepare yourself way before, maybe before high school, during high school. If you're in high school, you have to start, working towards that goal. You need to start doing well in school. You need to, if you can, volunteer at RSPCA or Nature Park, or even with Nakia or something. You apply and just try. Like, you've got nothing to lose. You can apply
Mm-hmm.
and say you want the experience because you're trying to apply to vet school. Get all the experience that you can get. Do well in your study. Stay focused. Network, talk to people who are in animal health, or talk to me if you, I'm on Facebook, so everybody can find
Yeah,
me. Um, so yeah, just network, go out there and get as much experience as you can, do well in school, and then you should be set to apply for the scholarship to study vet.
exactly. In yeah, overseas, because I don't think we have
No, we
vet
don't, yeah,
sciences here in Kenya. Yeah,
no,
so you'd have to study somewhere overseas. That's right.
yeah. So you have to prepare
Yeah.
yourself to apply for the scholarship.
All right. Yeah. Good words.
Yeah.
Good advice there. And my last question for today would be, what advice would you give to young single mothers or just single mothers in general who still have a desire to get some formal education but cannot do that due to, obvious reasons?
Yeah, I know it's hard, as a single mom, but it shouldn't be like a barrier, or, a burden that stops you from, getting where you want to go. I think being a single mom should actually and be motivate you, because, God created us, all gifted and talented, and we all have a strength that we don't know until, we're in the situation and need to do it. And I think what more better motivation than doing it for yourself and for your child. There are, issues with financial resources to continue further education, but there are opportunities out there, and
Okay.
you need to keep asking people. You need to keep looking. I think the failure comes when you actually give up. So um, being titled single mom doesn't make you disabled, or doesn't
That's
impede you
right.
from getting where you want to go, because you can still do that. I always say that if I can be a single mom and study one of the hardest degrees ever, like, no one has
Yeah.
an excuse.
Yeah, I mean,
So if I can do it, I'm sure a lot of women can do it.
everyone
You,
can, yeah.
like my mom says, strong and stuff lahan you.
Yeah, and she's right. That's really true. Well, thank you
Mhm.
so much. I mean, chatting with you and just listening to everything, I just feel really, really like inspired and
Yeah.
motivated. And I'm sure when I post this, I mean, everyone's gonna really love to hear your story. And hopefully, you might be getting a lot of friend requests. Yes, because I'm gonna
Mm.
tag you in my video, and yeah, thank you so much
Thank you so much for
for
the
coming
opportunity.
online.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping this can reach people and
Yeah.
inspire people. And yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
no worries. You're so welcome, and I wish you all the best. And I hope to meet you in person soon. I'm
Yes,
going to
yeah,
bother Alice until we have some lunch together.
yeah. She's
Yes,
moving into her new She's
new
moving into
place.
the university. Yeah,
Okay.
into
Oh
the
yeah, yeah. She
uni.
told
Yeah,
me. Finally, I lost.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah.
All right. But thank
Okay.
you
Well,
so
you have a good
much.
rest of